Hello to anybody that clicked on this video. Thank you very much for your interest in listening to a really awesome story. It's just a fun story. It's got a great message as well. I love the message of this story so much. I'll just very quickly uh, describe it, I guess, maybe explain it at the end of the video. But also, the biggest reason I'm uploading a video right now is to just say that if you are watching this video and you know me in real life currently or have ever known me in real life, I just want you to know, whoever you are, that I miss you and I care about you, and I just hope you're doing so well. I know that is an audience of people that you might be like, "What? You're talking to me?" Yeah, I'm talking to you. Right. Let me give you one of these. Now we're gonna start the video before I start yapping a bunch. Oh, by the way, also, as we kind of come into the summer months here, I do plan to be uploading videos every now, more frequently than I usually do. These are the months that I usually tend to upload a couple more videos than normal, but still probably not a ton often. I should say not super often, but I do want to just kind of check in and drop some communication your way. So, anyways, let's start with the story before I just keep rambling. I could talk all day about nothing. The story is called. It's because I don't have the title on it. I printed it off the internet. It's called The Bogey Beast. I just completely spaced on what the title of the story is after I just hyped it up. But I do really like this story, and you may have read this story before. You might have read it with me on your own, or you might be going to read this story in the near future. It's a fun one. It's short. It's only about 2.5 pages. So here we go. There was once a woman who was very cheerful. She had little to make her so, for she was old and poor and lonely. She lived in a little bit of a cottage and earned a scant living by running errands for her neighbors, getting a bite here, a sup there, as reward for her services. So she made shift to get on and always looked as spry and cheery as if she had not a want in the world. Now, one summer evening, she was trotting, full of smiles as ever, along the high road to her hovel. What should she see but a big black pot lying in the ditch? "Goodness me!" she cried. "That would be just the very thing for me, if I only had something to put in it. But I haven't. Now, who could have left it in the ditch?" And she looked about her, expecting the owner would not be far off, but she could see nobody. "Maybe there's a hole in it," she went on, "and that's why it's been cast away. But it would do fine to put a flower in for my window, so I'll just take it home with me." And with that, she lifted the lid and looked inside. "Mercy me!" she cried, fair amazed, "if it isn't full of gold pieces. Here's my luck." And so it was, brimful of great coins. I'm sorry, she didn't say "here's my luck," she just said "here's the luck." So it's not saying she has good luck by finding a pot of gold, it's just saying that's a very lucky thing to do, is to find a pot of gold. And so it was, brimful of great gold coins. Well, at first she simply stood stock still, wondering if she was standing on her head or her heels. Then she began saying, "Oh, but I do feel rich. I feel awful rich." After she had said this many times, she began to wonder how she was to get her treasure home. It was too heavy for her to carry, and she could see no better way than to tie the end of her shawl to it and drag it behind her like a go-kart. "It will soon be dark," she said to herself as she trotted along. "So much the better. The neighbors will not see what I'm bringing home, and I shall have all the night to myself and be able to think what I'll do with it. Perhaps I'll buy a grand house and just sit by the fire with a cup of tea, cup of coffee, and do not work at all. Do no work at all like a queen. Maybe I'll bury it at the garden foot and just keep a bit in an old china teapot on the chimney-piece. Or maybe, goody, I feel that grand I don't know myself." By this time she was a bit tired and dragging such a heavy weight She stopped to rest a while, turned to look at her treasure. Oh, lo, it wasn't a pot of gold at all. It was nothing but a lump of silver. So gold is more valuable than silver, so these valuable gold coins have now turned into a little bit lesser valuable lump of silver. She stared at it and rubbed her eyes and stared at it again. Well, I never, she said at last, and me thinking it was a pot of gold. I must have been dreaming. But this is luck. Silver is far less trouble, easier to mine, and not so easy stolen. Them gold pieces would have been the death of me, and with this great lump of silver. So she went off again, planning what she would do, and feeling as rich, until becoming a bit tired again, and she stopped to rest and gave a look round to see if her treasure was safe, and she saw nothing but a great lump of iron. Well, I never, says she again, and I mistaking it for silver. I must have been dreaming, but this is luck. It's real convenient. I can get penny pieces for old iron, and penny pieces are a deal handier for me than your gold and silver. Why, I should never have stopped a wink for fear of being robbed. But a penny piece comes in useful, and I shall set that iron for a lot and be real rich, rolling rich. So it was gold, very valuable, to silver, still pretty valuable. From silver down to iron, iron is still pretty valuable. Still pretty valuable in the old lady's eyes. She doesn't really have anything, so she's got something now. So on she trotted, full of plans as to how she would spend her penny pieces, till once more she stopped to rest and looked round to see her treasure was safe. And this time she saw nothing but a big stone. So it was gold, then silver, then iron, and now it's just a big stone, just a rock, a big old rock. That was me explaining the story, not what the story says. Well, I never, she cried, full of smiles, and to think I mistook it for iron. I must have been dreaming. But here's my luck indeed, and me wanting a stone terrible bad to stick open the gate. And my, but it's a change for the better. It's a fine thing to have good luck. So all in a hurry to see how the stone would keep the gate open, she trotted off down the hill till she came to her own cottage. She unlatched the gate and then turned to unfasten her shawl from the stone which lay on the path behind her. Aye, it was a stone sure enough. There was plenty light to see it lying there, douce and peaceable as a stone should be. So she bent over it to unfasten the shawl end, and oh my! All of a sudden it gave a jump, a squeal, and in one moment was as big as a haystack, pretty big. Then it let down 4 great lanky legs and threw out 2 long ears, nourished a great long tail, and romped off, kicking and squealing and whinnying and laughing like a naughty, mischievous boy. The old woman stared after it till it was fairly out of sight, then she burst out laughing too. Well, she chuckled, I am in luck. Quite the luckiest body hereabouts. Fancy my seeing the Bogey Beast all to myself and making myself so free with it, too. My goodness, I do feel that uplifted, that grand. So she went into her cottage and spent the evening chuckling over her good luck. That's the end of the story. I love this story, and I'm going to just really quickly explain why. It's already a 10-minute video about. That's okay. So, this old lady, who's very poor, she's all alone by herself. She lives by herself, but she's happy. She's doing well. She sees a broken pot, or just an empty pot, which thinks is an empty black cauldron lying in a ditch. And she says, oh my goodness, why is that there? Maybe it has a hole in it. I could still take it home and put some flowers in it and put those flowers on my windowsill. She goes down to look at the pot. It's full of gold coins, like a leprechaun's pot of gold almost. She sees the gold. She's all excited. She's like, hey, now I have some money to go do whatever I need to do, go live my life with. So she takes it. She starts walking home with it. She turns turns around to check on it, and that gold has turned into a big piece of silver. And that silver, like I said before, is a little less valuable than gold, but still, that's awesome. Is she didn't have anything before that. So she's all excited still. She's like, you know what? Gold, that would be too so much trouble. People would try and steal it. Silver's easier. It's not something people are trying to steal as much. This is awesome. And this is just free silver she found. So then she's walking. She turns around to check on her silver. And that silver had turned to iron, a big piece of iron, which is definitely not as valuable as gold. Slightly less valuable than silver. It's iron. She's like, hey, you know what? This is easier to work with than gold or silver because I can take this iron, and people around here, just wherever I go, will probably be able to buy it. They'll have enough coins, enough pennies to buy the iron. If she's going to sell gold and silver, she has to find someone that's rich enough, wealthy enough to pay for that. So she's like, hey, iron is easier for me to get rid of. No one's going to try and steal it. This is awesome. I'm so lucky. So she keeps walking. She turns around to check on her iron. And like we said in the story, it turned into a giant rock. Just a stone that you might see anywhere in the world. She says, you know what? That's actually fantastic. Because I needed a stone to hold open my gate, my fence door. And I'm just so lucky. This is awesome. And so she keeps walking with her stone, and she goes to put her stone, holding the door open, and the stone turns into the creature known as the Bogey Beast. And it runs away. And she says, oh my goodness, I am so lucky. I was walking this whole time with the Bogey Beast, and I was just happy about it, and everything was okay. And it turned out that the Bogey Beast didn't want to do anything, like cause me any trouble, and it just left. So I'm so lucky that the Bogey Beast just left, and I was with it this whole time, and it didn't try to cause me any trouble. And so she just starts laughing about how lucky she is and what good fortune she had. The reason I love this story so much is because it just is a great example of appreciating what you have. Right? Don't be sad over what you don't have. Love the things that you do have, right? Count your blessings, not your sheep. Count the good things that you have in your life, and be happy for them more than focusing on the things you don't have and being sad about what you don't have. I love this story so much. Thanks for listening. Thank you very much for listening. I'm so excited that you hopefully chose to listen to this whole story. Thanks for listening to me ramble, talking fast. I'm trying to end the video. And have a great couple weeks, or however long it is until I see you next. Peace out.